Hello guys, I hope you all are doing good. I am Vishali Kikan, Assistant Professor Electronics and Communication Engineering Department at KIIT Group of Institutions. So this is the episode 2 of our antenna design in the simulation series. Today we are going to talk about the practical aspects of the dipole antenna with the help of the Tarang software. I hope you all must have seen the previous video in which I have already demonstrated the Tarang software. I have talked about its features and the installation. If you have still not watched the previous video, it is highly recommended that you go back and watch the previous video once, then come to this video. So in this video, we are going to first simulate the dipole antenna with the Tarang software, and after that, we are going to verify our results with the help of the theory part of the dipole antenna. So this is how your screen would be looking like if you have already installed this software. So we have various modules over here. If we are talking about the antenna design, we are going to the 3D CAD designing module, right? So first of all, you have to click it and then you have to go to the start option. When you click the start option, this kind of window will be opening. So now we get our space where we are going to simulate our dipole antenna. So dipole antenna is actually a wire antenna. It is made of wire. So first of all, I am taking a wire to make the dipole antenna. So from here, I will be taking the wire, right? So just click it and this kind of window will open. So here you can give any name to your wire. So I'm not changing the default name. You can give any customized color of wire as well. So now what are these? These are the coordinates for the point 1 and the point 2. Okay, what are these point 1 and point 2? So now whenever I have to make a wire, I need 2 points. Okay, so when I have these 2 points, I can join these 2 points and I will be having a straight wire. So now I need to know the coordinates of this point and the coordinates of this point to make this wire. So now these are the x, y and the z coordinates. So the default values are 0, 0, minus 100 and 0, 0, 100. So minus 100 and the 100 are the z coordinates, which means the z coordinate is changing from minus 100 to 100. Which means the wire is 200 centimeter long, and from here I am verifying the units are centimeter. You can change the units to millimeter, inch, meter, feet as well. So I am taking the unit to be in centimeter. Now again I am opening this window and we have the various things over here like the diameter. Diameter is 1, which is the default value. I am taking it only. Now the material is copper. So now I will just click OK, and this is how I have made my wire dipole antenna. Now, if I want to make this dipole antenna, I have to give the power to it, I have to give the feed supply to it, and for that I am going to have the port excitation. So from here you can click and you will be getting the port, and this kind of option is coming to you, which is X and Y option. So now when you go and click over the wire, this port is going to stick on the wire, but where I want to have the port on the dipole antenna at the center. So now I will be double clicking it, and now this kind of window will be opening. So from this window I will be choosing the port at the center location. My x coordinate was 0, my y coordinate was 0, so I am taking these two to be 0 only. My z coordinate was changing from minus 100 to 100 and its center point would be 0. So now I have taken the z coordinate to be 0. Now the characteristic impedance is 50. Okay, so this is how I have taken the characteristic impedance 50. I am taking that only so that it will be matched to my wire. Okay, so now this is how I have made my dipole antenna. Now I have to go to the simulate option. This green part, this green triangular option is the simulate option, and we have various options over here. Okay, so you can choose the maximum iterations. Okay, you can choose the sweep type. You can choose the start and the stop frequencies. So the start and the stop frequencies are the 25 megahertz and the 500 megahertz. Okay, if you want to write 25 megahertz in a simple way, you cannot count so many zeros. So you can write 25E6. So simply it is 25 megahertz, right? Now after that we are observing it at 101 point so that I can observe the near field as well. Okay, after that I am choosing the center point to be, or center frequency to be 75 megahertz, and I am not changing anything, and I am going to the simulate option. Okay, so now it is simulated. I can observe various things. First of all, I am going to observe the radiation pattern. Okay, so this is how a radiation pattern would be looking like. So you can rotate it anywhere, and this is how we will be getting a 3D kind of radiation pattern. You can click the W option, the wire would be visible to you. Okay, so you can right click and then you can zoom it as well. Okay, so this is how you can zoom it, rotate it, and this is how you will be getting the radiation pattern of the dipole antenna. Okay, so when you want to reset it, just click the R option and it would be resetted. So this is the dipole antenna radiation pattern, which looks like a donut, which means if I see it from this direction, it is directional kind of radiation pattern. It is having this direction, but if I see it from the another direction, which means if I see it from, if I observe it from here, you know, it is looking like the isotropic radiation pattern. So it is not perfectly directional, it is not perfectly isotropic. It is isotropic in the phi directional and it is directional in one direction. Okay, so now you can close it, or you can again click the radiation pattern and then you can observe the 2D plot as well from the right click, and then you can use the polar plot option. Okay, so this is how I will be getting the 2D plot. So you can click here and click the play option as well. So just click the play option, it will start getting played. So this is how I will be having the radiation pattern. Okay, so now I am going to observe the various other things. So this is the real part of the impedance, right? So I am closing all of the other windows. So this is how the real part of the impedance, that is the resistance, is looking like. Okay, so it will be having various values. So now after that we have the imaginary part of the impedance, which means the reactance. So you can see the reactance is starting from minus infinity, that is the capacitive region. Here at the 0 I will be having the resonant condition, and here I will be having the inductive part. These things we have already studied about in the theory part. Okay, so this is my absolute value of S, or the S values. So you can see this is the S value where I can get the center frequency. Okay, when I want to maximize the performance of our antenna, so I have to work upon the center frequency at which it is perfectly operating in a very good condition, and I can find out the S value for that from this chart. Okay, after that this is the feed power. So this is how I have to give the feed power. So now from here also I can find out the optimum condition. Okay, so now coming to the Smith chart. The Smith chart tells me the capacitive region. The inner region is the capacitive region, the outer region would be the inductive region. Okay, so you can plot the Smith chart as well. After that you can have the radiation in the 2D. We have already demonstrated it from the polar plot, from the 3D radiations as well. And again I am clearing all of these things. After that I have the voltage distribution, right? I have the current distribution and I have the charge distribution. Okay, so you can see we have various things. So first of all I am going to maximize the voltage distribution. You can rotate it and you can find out the maximum voltage is at this location, right? So this is how you can observe the voltage distribution. Now coming to the current. Okay, so you can again rotate it, you can find the maximum current is at the center. Okay, and again you can have the charge distribution. You can see the charge is maximum at this point. Okay, so this is the minimum charge, this is the maximum charge, and this is how it is the dipole. Okay, so here we have the first kind of charge accumulated, here we have the second kind of charge accumulated in the same magnitude. So when we have same magnitude charge but opposite in nature charge, you can see the opposite nature of the charge from this graph. When these are accumulated at a very small distance apart, it is forming a dipole, and this is how it is forming a dipole, and it is verified from this chart. We have already seen the radiation pattern. Now coming to the near field. For that you have to click this option, you have to choose the location in which you want to see the near field, because the near field is coming in a particular region only. So for a particular region I want to observe what kind of field variations would be there. So I am taking the maximum and the minimum values. So the maximum and minimum values I have taken to be minus 200, 200 and the 51. Okay, so I will just click the OK button. So this is how I have specified the region surrounding to my antenna. Okay, now I am going to click on the near field region. So this is how it has opened. Okay, so let's magnify it and let's see what kind of regions we will be having. So we can just click the right click and we will be having the play option, and this is how we will be having the animation of the near field also. Okay, so this is how I will be having the near field also. Okay, so now you can click it and this is how the animations are going to start over here. Okay, so now you can see this is kind of radiation pattern that we are getting. So now from here you can see the field contour as well. Okay, I have just clicked it. It will be taking some time because it is observing it at the 101 point that we had already chosen. Okay, so let's wait for some time and it will open soon. Okay, so from here you can see we have our field contour. So now you can have various other options here as well. You can have the play option. Okay, so this is how we will be having the animated version of our fields as well. So now after that you can click to the flux lines and we can observe the flux lines as well. So you can see the flux lines here. So you can again change the location. So you can right click and you can go to the play option. So this will play the animations. Okay, then you can rotate it and you can observe the flux lines over here. Okay, so this is how our flux lines would be there. I have already told you about various other things. So I hope all of the things are understood. So now coming to again the radiation pattern. So this was my radiation pattern. We can observe various things. We can have the maximum gain, we have the minimum gain also. So you can see we have the gain calculations also directly from the radiation pattern. Now coming to the theory of the dipole antenna. So we have already seen various 2D plots, 3D plots associated with the dipole antenna. We have already made our dipole antenna with the help of the copper material wire of 1 centimeter diameter, and the port excitation was 50 ohm. The frequency sweep was 25 to 500 megahertz with 101 points. So these are all the outputs that we have already observed. So now coming to the basic antennas. We have various kind of antennas which are differing with each other in the terms of cost, size, gain, bandwidth profile. But we have some antennas which we are main focusing upon because of some special features, and one of them is the dipole antenna because of the cost associated with it. Dipole antenna is antenna which is a very popular antenna because it is a small package with a low cost. Right, it is giving me a lot of things, a lot of advantages with a low cost associated with it. We all know that the changing current will be producing the changing magnetic field, which in turn will be producing the changing electric field, and this is how we are generating the radiation. So same concept is there in the dipole antenna as well. If we have the wire, so the wire will be turned. So we have the 2-wire transmission line. In the 2-wire transmission line we have the 2 wires which are turned at the angle of 90 degree, and this is how I am forming the dipole. We can have monopole as well, in which I am just folding one of the wire and the other wire is grounded. So dipole antenna is a balanced wire antenna, whereas the monopole antenna is an unbalanced wire antenna. Right, so the simplest and the most popular antenna is the dipole antenna, right, and we have various advantages associated with it. So the optimum length is lambda by 2. If I have length lesser than lambda by 2, it will be showing me the capacitive nature, and if the length is greater than lambda by 2, it will be showing me the inductive nature. Okay, So we have the different lengths and we have the different time according to which we have the various radiations that are coming from the dipole antenna. So you can see if I have the 2-wire transmission line over here. Now what happens? So if the current is flowing in the opposite direction, here I will be having some radiations, and in the lowermost direction of the wire also we will be having the radiations. So in the upper direction we will be having the maxima. At the same point in the lower wire we will be having the minima. So this is how we have the maxima and the minima superimposed, and I will be getting a standing wave at the body of the transmission line. Now I start flaring out the transmission line and I will be observing some radiations associated with it. As soon as I flare out the transmission line at the 90-degree angle, I will be getting the best of the radiation, and this is how our dipolar antenna would be looking like. We have various other configurations as well, you can see. Now coming to the popularity of the wire antenna. Two reasons are there. Because of these two reasons our wire antenna is so popular. First, it is really cheap because of the cost factor, because it is inexpensive to manufacture. This is the very big reason why it is popular. And the second reason is that it is azimuthally symmetric. Okay, why the azimuthal symmetry is required? Because we can have various receivers and one of the receiver can be placed in any direction, and if I want to communicate to this receiver only, and if I have the directional antenna who's sending the radiation in the opposite direction, so it is of no use. So in that scenario I want an antenna which is sending me the radiations equal in all of the directions, and that is my dipolar antenna. So these are the two reasons because of which my dipolar antenna is very popular. So we have already seen the current distribution. I have shown you that the current distribution was maximum at the center, and these are the equations of the current. So Iz is I naught sine k L by 2 minus Z, and Iz is I naught sine k L by 2 plus Z. Okay, so you can see this is the equation for length 0 up to L by 2, and this is the equation of current for length minus L by 2 up to 0. Okay, so the current distribution will change based upon the length of the dipole antenna as well. And we have the impedances also. The impedance will be termed as R plus Jx, where R is the real part and X is the imaginary part, which means R is the resistance and X is the reactance. So now when I make the dipole antenna small, we will be having the negative reactance value more. Okay, so the small real impedance or the resistance would be there. So as the dipole gets larger, the resistance increases. So in both of the cases I am going to have some disadvantage. So I am going to have some optimal length of the dipole antenna, that is lambda by 2, where I will be getting the best of the radiations of my dipole antenna. So you can see the electric field equation. We have already seen its derivation in the theory part, and I am not going deep inside the derivation part. So you can see the electric field and how from the electric field I can compute the magnetic field also. So the normalized radiation pattern for the dipole antennas of various length are shown in this figure, and the full wavelength is more directional than the shorter and the quarter wavelength dipole. Okay, so you can see this represent L is equal to 1 lambda. This represents L is equal to 0.25 lambda. This is the outer circle which represents this radiation, and this represents 1.5 lambda. So this is the radiation pattern of 1.5 lambda. Okay, so now coming to the half wave dipole. I have told you we are getting the optimal condition or the optimal radiations at the half wavelength. So this is the most important type of dipole antenna. We can have various types of dipole antenna as well, like the infinitesimal dipole, half wave dipole, but the half wave dipole is the most important. Okay, so now instead of measuring the size of antenna in its physical length, now we are measuring the size of the antenna in the terms of its electrical length. So electrical length becomes one of the most important parameter. We have to observe the various wavelengths also, so that I can find out the length of the dipole antenna, because I have already told you the dipole antenna's length is measured in the terms of wavelength. So if I have various operating frequency, I can measure the lambda, because lambda is C upon F. If I know F, I can measure the lambda. So for various frequencies like 600 megahertz, I have lambda 0.5 meter. For 1.2 gigahertz, I have 0.25 meter. For 3 gigahertz, I have 0.1 meter. Okay, for 12 gigahertz, I have 2.5 centimeter long wavelength. So if the frequency increases, the value of wavelength is going to decrease, and if I am going to operate at higher frequency, I am getting compact and compact dipole antenna. So now you can have the various type of length, the physical length and the electrical length. So the physical length is actual length, and the electrical length, which is measured in the terms of frequency, wavelength, or any other criteria. So electrical length of the wire is dependent upon its physical length as well as the frequency or the wavelength. Okay, so let's take an example. The physical length is equal to 0.5 meter is transmitting a signal with wavelength lambda is equal to 0.25 meter. So electrical length would be 2 lambda. Okay, so if I have the 0.5 meter and lambda is 0.25 meter, I can represent it as 2 lambda. So now I hope you understood the difference between the physical length and the electrical length. So now the half wavelength dipole antenna is the most popular antenna because it is the antenna which is coming at the resonant condition. It is giving me the low weight, low cost and the low size as well. So now can I make the antennas very small? If it is becoming extremely small, its capacitance is going to increase. The radiation resistance becomes very small. So I need radiation resistance for getting me a good radiation, but it is going to be small if I am going to decrease the size of the antenna too much. Its reactive component is becoming very large, and negative, that is capacitive. So a dipole antenna with very small electrical length looks like a capacitor only, and capacitors are very bad antennas. I want resistors to be a good antenna so that I could be having good radiation resistance. So the next point is that it is exceedingly difficult to match a very good electrically short dipole to either a transmitter or the receiver. Right now, when we increase the electrical length of the short dipole, its radiation resistance increases and its reactive components diminishes. So now at the lambda by 2 length, the radiation resistance is 73 ohm, and this is nearly equal to the impedance of the wire. So the reflection losses will also be less at this point. Okay, so now the dipole do not require any sort of matching network, and this is the reason it has to match to the transmission line also, which is having the impedance nearly equal to 75. So there would be less reflection losses if I am talking about the lambda by 2 dipole antenna, and this is the second reason I can say that half wave dipole is very popular type of antenna. The signal frequency is slightly greater or slightly less than the design frequency, and this is how we will be getting a very good match. Okay, but it is a narrow band device. Okay, so it is just working on a single kind of frequency that is equal to the lambda by 2 length. Okay, from the lambda by 2 length I can calculate what is the lambda on which my dipole antenna is working, and from that I can calculate what is the frequency over which my dipole antenna is working. Okay, so now there will be a simple dipole half wave antenna. You can see the figure. Here you can see we are getting the maximum radiations over here. If I increase the length, the radiations will be having the destructive interference, and we are going to have some minimum radiations if I increase the length. Okay, so the directivity of this antenna is 1.64, that is 2.15 dB. Half power beam width is 78 degree. Okay, input impedance is 73 plus 42.5 j ohm, and we have already seen the electric field and the magnetic field. Okay, so now if I reduce the length slightly, antenna can become resonant. Okay, so the length is reduced to 0.48 wavelength, and the input impedance of the antenna also becomes 70 ohm, which means we will be not having any kind of reflection losses. This is the radiation pattern. We have already observed the same kind of radiation pattern with the software as well. So this is the donut kind of radiation pattern. We have one gigantic main lobe and no side lobes. So the antenna can physically get to be isotropic, and we can find out the directivity, which is nearly equal to 1. Okay, it is slightly greater than 1, so it is 1.643. So now coming to the aperture area. So effective aperture area is lambda square upon 4 pi d naught, or I can say it to be 0.13 lambda square. So if I increase the frequency, I will be having lesser aperture area as well. So now as the wavelength increases, the effective aperture area increase, which means I am going to work on a larger antenna if the wavelength is more. There is an example for a half wave dipole for a signal with lambda is equal to 0.2 meter. It must have a physical length of 0.1 meter. But if I have the lambda is equal to 2 meter, then the physical length would be 1 meter. And this is how I will be having the bigger and bigger antennas if I am working on the bigger and bigger wavelengths. So I hope you enjoyed this session. You did all of the practical experiments. You understood the theory part. And if you have any doubt, you can put the doubt in the comment and I will be trying to resolve your doubt as soon as possible. Thank you so much.